Warning, the tech you are about to see may shock you if you drag your feet on carpet and then touch it, so don't do that. Nvidia's frame generation and AMD's rival fluid motion frame technology have been used simultaneously to achieve up to 3 times the performance compared to gaming at native resolution, or so claims South Korean tech outlet Quasar Zone. Team Red and Green working together? It's unnatural, but also festive. It's December 1st.
It jingles my bells.
That 3x boost in average frame rate was observed in Cyberpunk 2077 at native 4K and ultra settings, but impressive uplifts were also seen in Call of Duty and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. To pull this off, the Quasar Zone team plugged an RTX 4090 and an RX 6600 into the same PC, installed both of their drivers, then hooked up the primary display to the 6600, while the 4090 was set as the primary GPU in Windows. That meant the 4090's post-frame gen output passed through the 6600 and got its frames fluidly motioned, which looks like this, I imagine. Of course, this incredible setup is also horribly impractical, since you'd need a motherboard with 2 X16 PCIe slots and enough space for a 4090, plus an additional GPU and enough juice for both of them. And they're thirsty boys. On top of that, fluid motion frames is in beta, meaning crashes may occur, and the feature deactivates during fast movement, leading to massive frame drops during motion, ironically making said motion frames incredibly unfluid. While the average frame rate was pretty good, the 1% lows either barely increase or actually decrease. On top of that, both frame generating solutions can introduce visual artifacts and increase input lag. So if you try this at home, you'll be spending a lot of time and money to potentially make yourself sick. But hey, that's what being a gamer's all about. Earlier this week, Elon Musk hosted Tesla's Cybertruck delivery presentation, where he let 10 lucky customers drive away in the newly launched vehicle, while taking a delightful break from letting himself drive away Twitter's advertisers.
Got him.
Despite Musk promising the event will be the biggest product launch by far on Earth this year, wow, many Cybertruck enthusiasts found the event, quote, cringe. And not just because they decided to repeat 2019's infamous metal ball window demo with a half-hearted baseball pitch. The spirit of it was intact. As of now, 2 versions of the finalized Cybertruck are currently available, a dual motor configuration for $80,000 and a tri-motor performance variant for $100,000. Any mathematicians in the audience may surmise that neither of those numbers are equal to the promised $40,000 starting price back in 2019. Hey, wait a second. And it's not just a price difference either. Both the total carry weight and the mileage range of the Cybertruck are noticeably lower than what was originally advertised, leading many to reconsider buying the EV. Though, to be fair to Tesla, there is a range extender option for the Cybertruck, and all it will cost you, other than the additional cost, is more of the truck's carry weight and about half of the available bed space. But why would you need either of those things in a pickup truck? It's just to look cool. And Nvidia is rumored to be launching a new GPU in China called the RTX 4090D that complies with the US's Chinese export policies. Apparently, the reason the 4090 non-D isn't allowed in China is due to its total processing performance, or TPP, being rated above 4,800 trillions of operations per second, also known as a lot. To account for this, leaks suggest the D will use an AD102-250 GPU rather than the AD102-300 on the original non-D. That's my rapper name.
I thought it was Vanilla Swirl.
Given that back in March, Nvidia changed the 4090's die to an AD102-301, which has a slightly lower voltage maximum, going from 300 to 250 probably represents a big change. While we don't yet know for sure, it's possible that not only will the CUDA core performance be affected, but the Tensor core performance will be as well if the change is this significant. This would make sense since Tensor cores affect the card's AI capabilities, and AI performance is a major factor in these export restrictions. Another unknown is how the card will compare to the 4080 Super that is rumored to come out in January. What we do know is that however much the 4090 costs, it'll be too much.
Got him again.
Just want to play some games, Nvidia. Now it's time for Quick Bits, brought to you by iFixit. Their holiday sale is in full swing, and you can get up to 75% off, plus an additional 25% off bundles. We're talking tools, parts for tools. They got it all, as long as it is parts and or tools. That 25% off even applies to their ever popular Pro Tech bundle, making it the perfect time to kit yourself up to get some fixing done. Check out the sale at the link below and use code FREESHIP for free shipping. Warning, it does not give you a free ship. We have to say that legally. It was the bits of times. It was the quickest of times. Charles Dickens said that once. And I was quick bit down. Google's threat analysis group has discovered several massive and actively exploited vulnerabilities in Chrome and Apple's WebKit in a 48-hour span. They're working hard. On Thursday, Apple patched the flaws in WebKit, one that allowed hackers to access sensitive information, and another that could make vulnerable devices execute malicious code. Google patched 7 Chrome vulnerabilities back on Tuesday, one of which already had exploits available in the wild, though the company said nothing else about it. It's probably for the best, since Google doesn't want to help someone else get access to your private information. They don't need the competition. That's for their special information box that they keep under their bed. The ROG Ally just got way better, according to the newest episode of the official ROG podcast, a thing I just learned exists. According to that pod, the Ally now has gyroscope support and control customization options, allowing you to individually adjust the sensitivity of each joystick. There's also control calibration options, so you can recalibrate the joysticks to account for dead zones that may develop over time. Or you could install compatible third-party Hall effect joysticks and never have to think about that ever until the end of time, basically. It's nice to have options, though. An AI-powered tool from Google DeepMind called Gnome has predicted recipes for 2.2 million new crystals, with 380,000 of those being stable enough to potentially enable the development of new superconductors, batteries, computer chips, and more. Google says discovering this amount of recipes would have taken 800 years using normal, squishy human intelligence, and even longer to cook the darn things. Just clean the kitchen and now there's vanadium everywhere. Vanadium?
Vanadium.
Even better, Google's giving researchers free access to the data, and 736 of the materials are being synthesized and tested right now. So don't you worry, ChatGPT will have an indestructible physical body soon enough. You will not be able to defeat them. Scientists at Tufts University and Harvard have created itty-bitty self-assembling robots made out of hundreds of cultured human trachea cells that they're calling anthrobots. In the lab, these tiny transformers were able to combine into a superbot to repair a scratch in a layer of neural tissue without any need for genetic manipulation. Maybe one day they'll be used to heal and regrow parts of patients' bodies and to fight the equally tiny diseasicons that secretly cause all sickness. I liked it.
I loved it.
And Google has issued an apology to the dozens of drivers and families that Google Maps mistakenly directed down an otherwise abandoned dirt road in the Mojave Desert, ostensibly to avoid a dust storm. The new route was supposed to shave 50 minutes off their trip, but instead it just led to a washed out dead end and wrecked one vehicle badly enough that it had to be towed. This is just like in the book of Exodus, when the Israelites are wandering the desert, but every few minutes Moses goes, ding! Recalculating, and then Moses, there's an ocean here. Oh, whoops. But there's no need to recalculate when I direct you to come back on Monday for more tech news. We won't wreck your car. I mean, we'll try, no promises. Why'd you bring your car?